Hey there, everyone, and welcome back. We're here doing 30 days of radical acceptance, and today we're going to be on day 23, and we're digging into the Manual for Teachers of the Course in Miracles. I'm going to be talking a little bit about section 18, how is correction made? And I'll explain why in a minute. I do want to say I am fueled so much by everything that I experienced over the weekend. Being in the room yesterday and getting to hear from Sheriff Mack, Judy Mikovits, Lee Merritt, and Del Bigtree was so inspiring. To be in a room with people who are living their truth, speaking their truth, powerfully delivering messages to an audience of people without fear, without worry of, what others are thinking, and knowing that their message, believing for themselves that their message is truly helping people, truly helping humanity. You could just feel it. Being with people in that kind of energy is incredibly inspiring. And I just feel very grateful that I could witness that and be a part of that and be in that energy in person. So it was really amazing. And each speaker, I've heard them speak before, I've watched their videos, but being with them in person, it feels like there was just a little bit more of a connection, and I learned new things and I went a little deeper. So yeah, maybe a lot to talk about on other videos, but it was an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful that I could have that opportunity. So one of the people that presented, she was talking about a transformational nutrition program that she developed because she used it herself and has been using it to help people for several years now. She used to be in the beauty industry, so she has a lot of exposure to just how the truth behind what it's like to be in that industry, and all the interesting stories and struggles that people have in just the beauty, the concept of beauty in our media and in our culture, and working with having this health challenge and doing what she was doing with this thing called leptin, but not being allowed to talk about it because it wasn't approved or acceptable to some agency or organization. You know how it goes. So there was a bit of censorship with her. So anyway, I decided that I wanted to talk to her about her program. And one of the things that's included is eating meat. And so the other day I was talking about a big change that I made over the past couple of years is eliminating animal products from my diet. So as she was talking, I felt myself getting a little triggered around what I thought I knew was best for me, and all of the books I've read and all the information that I have stored in my brain, and all the hours, hundreds of hours probably at this point, of YouTube videos that I have logged in just creating my understanding around how I want to take care of my body and what I think is best for me. So it made me think about my attachment to my beliefs about my body. And again, I think in the ultimate reality, it doesn't matter what we eat or what our diet is. Our alignment with truth is where our health actually comes from. And so I just decided I'm gonna try her program and see how it goes. But noticing my judgments was kind of sticking in my mind this morning as I was thinking of what I would talk with you today about. So my thought for the day is I notice how my judgments show up for me. And I think I do have a lot of attachment around health and wellness because I think I've gone through this transformation, and what's good for me must be good for everyone. But that's not necessarily the case. And I think that the things that I'm doing in my lifestyle, while I'm doing them from a place of love and wanting to care for my temple, my body is my temple, I do think that there is an ego element in there that's telling me how right I am and how wrong others are. So we read earlier section 17 from the Manual for Teachers, how do God's teachers deal with magic thoughts? And there was a lot of talk about anger in there. So I'd like to read section 18. I'm just going to read through the whole thing, so I think it's all beautifully synchronistic for this thought of the day, and ask you to hold this thought in your head. I notice how my judgments show up for me. So what are those things that you are 100% certain about, that you know for sure nobody can tell you that there's another way of being, of living, of doing? Something that you're really, really attached to, that you're certain of. I don't know. Is that something that you could look at? So, section 18 from the Manual for Teachers, how is correction made? Correction of a lasting nature, and only this is true correction, cannot be made until the teacher of God has ceased to confuse interpretation with fact or illusion with truth. If he argues with his pupil about a magic thought, attacks it, tries to establish its error or demonstrate its falsity, he is but witnessing to its reality. Depression is then inevitable, for he has proved, both to his pupil and himself, that it is their task to escape from what is real. And this can only be impossible. Reality is changeless. Magic thoughts are but illusions. Otherwise, salvation would be only the same age-old impossible dream in but another form. Yet the dream of salvation has new content. It is not the form alone which the difference lies. God's teacher's major lesson is to learn how to react to magic thoughts wholly without anger. Only in this way can they proclaim the truth about themselves. Through them, the Holy Spirit can now speak to the reality of the Son of God. Now he can remind the world of sinlessness, the one unchanged, unchangeable condition of all that God created. Now he can speak the word of God to listening ears and bring Christ's vision to eyes that see. Now is he free to teach all minds the truth of what they are, so they will gladly be returned to him. And now is guilt forgiven, overlooked completely in his sight and in God's word. Anger but screeches, guilt is real. Reality is blotted out as this insane belief is taken as replacement for God's word. The body's eyes now see, its ears alone can hear. Its little space and tiny breath become the measure of reality, and truth becomes diminutive and meaningless. Correction has one answer to all this, and to the world that rests on this. You but mistake interpretation for the truth, and you are wrong. But a mistake is not a sin, nor has reality been taken from its throne by your mistakes. God reigns forever, and his laws alone prevail upon you and upon the world. His love remains the only thing there is. Fear is illusion, for you are like him. I notice how my judgments show up for me. And I would say with my judgments, I get the feeling of anger, control. My ego is insulted because my intelligence is being questioned, or something along those lines is what was coming up for me as I was speaking with this woman about her program, and like maybe making some changes about how I care for my body on a daily basis. So tune into yourself and see if you can grab anything from all these things I just said, and notice how difficult it is to let go. What I did with myself in my mind after, actually during that conversation with her, was I stopped myself from arguing with her about, everything that I've learned about fruitarianism and, the mucusless diet and all these things that I more or less could certainly preach about. And I said, wait a second, Sherry, I'm not my body. And true health doesn't come from anything that I'm eating. There's an intention around well-being and wanting to have a vessel that is a good transmitter, receiver for information from the divine. However, the specifics truly don't matter. What I'm fueling with, as long as I have a pure heart, doesn't matter. And so I chose to take a risk and say, okay, I've been living this way for a couple of years now and really sure of myself and certain that I'm doing it right and others are doing it wrong. Well, I don't know. I think that's part of my ego's clever way of hiding my judgments. So there we go. I notice how my judgments show up for me. Do you notice how your judgments show up for you? Are you willing to challenge yourself to go in the opposite direction of something that you're certain about? in order to see where your ego is hiding too. All right, here we are, day 23. Enjoy, have a good one, and I'll see you again tomorrow.